our home. Many of you who reside in that area, who aren't here anymore, have seen me hundreds of times running with my dog, pushing my son in a stroller, or both when I'm very ambitious. We play in our backyard, search for cool rocks and amphibians in the creek, the drainage creek that runs right behind Dawson Street, and grow a garden, always looking forward to picking tomatoes fresh off the vine. Our garden is watered not only by rain, by our spigot, but also by the occasional inadvertent runoff from that creek. That same creek that floods and touches every backyard between Dawson and Florence Avenue. My disdain for not wanting an industrial entity built essentially in our backyards goes beyond the added traffic, the added noise, the major eyesore, but the negative impact on property value, the inevitable increase in drainage issues, and more than likely the impact on water pressure and sewage overusage. It also embodies the quality of our health. We all know far too well how Appalachia is always left to reap the consequences of polluted air, water, and soil. Regarding reduced water pressure, ask our fellow Jacksonians living in the Jacksonville apartments who lost water pressure when a church was built on top over there on that hill, and whose complaints go unheard of by the city. And we want an entire steel fabrication campus in an area that already struggles infrastructurally. Geiger Brothers states that they will abide by all laws and regulations, but there is no guarantee that doing the required minimum eliminates the risk of polluting our neighborhood. And with the current deregulation of many industries, especially those that impact the environment, it is unclear what this new fabrication establishment will have on our community, especially those residing very close to it. For example, a 2024 EPA regulation that requires toxin monitoring at the fence line of steel manufacturing plants is currently being delayed by the federal government with the possibility of a full repeal. And with deregulation comes no accountability. We can argue about, well, how do we know it comes from this particular plant? But we know here living in Appalachia. We know how bad things can get. Ask anyone living in our neighboring counties. Furthermore, a 2020 review in the Journal of Environmental Management states that there continues to be a challenge in reducing the large amounts of water consumption and large amounts of toxin-containing wastewater that come from the steel industry from all sectors. The proposed location for this new development is just not the right location. It is literally in people's backyards. Do I want to worry whether I can peacefully breathe in the air when I go exercise? Do I want to worry whether or not the cherry tomato that my son puts in his mouth is full of cancer-causing chemicals? No, and I don't think any of my neighbors nor anyone on this board and council would like those worries either. I am in no way against bringing jobs to Jackson. Please do. Maybe that way some of us don't have to drive an hour away and give our tax money to other counties. But not at the cost of people's health, my son's health, and maybe your loved one's health who may be living in that neighborhood or come and stay in that neighborhood a bit of time. I left a major city in my early 20s looking for a better, healthier place to breathe clean air, drink clean water, and safely splash in a creek or two. I thought I found that in Jackson, but maybe I'm wrong, and I hope you guys consider that. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go into the minutes from our previous meeting, the September 8th meeting. You all had copies in your packets. Is there any objections or corrections to the minutes as presented to council? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes. Mr. Newkirk, is there a second? Ms. Colby, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. Next on our agenda is committee reports. We'll start with utility. Mr. Newkirk.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Newkirk. Budget and finance, Ms. Colby.
No report.
Thank you, Ms. Colby. Police, fire, and traffic, Mr. Foster.
I have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. Service, Mr. Peters.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. The auditor's report, Mr. Reed.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. City attorney, Mr. Kirby.
No report.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. Chief Inch is not with us this evening. Mayor Evans, mayor's report.
I have a few things to update council on. First, our paving. They have finished this stretch of the paving. They did Anderson Drive, parts of Florence, and parts of Lewis Street out in the the Jackson Heights area. Also, they will be back in town probably in about 3 weeks to pave Pearl Street, which got delayed because we had discovered a situation with a water line that we wanted to improve before that. And then the Pattonsville Road, as you go out East Broadway, the part of that that's in the city will be paving in coordination with the county, so that it all gets paved out through there. I want to thank the county engineer's office for working on us with that, so we could do that together and not have patchwork as you go out of town out that Pattonsville Road area. Also, we have received bids for the 2 different bids, well, actually several bids for 2 different parts of the project of the memorial building demolition. They're under review right now. We wasn't able to have it ready to bring to council tonight. Depending on what the upcoming council meetings are, we may ask to schedule a special council meeting to get action on that, particularly if the next council meeting, which falls on a holiday, is not held. We might ask for council to convene to consider those contracts. We would hope to have them here tonight, we just couldn't make it happen. But that's moving forward. The downtown revitalization project, as it's called, started today, actually. They're at the intersection of Broadway and Pearl Street, getting ready to do some valving there. As part of that, adding some valves so we can start the water line, and so they'll be working in that area along Broadway now for the next few weeks, next several weeks in this phase 1 of that, replacing the water line. As a reminder, it's basically a paving project uptown, paving and lighting for those 2 blocks on Main Street and 1 block and a half on Broadway. But as part of that, we are also replacing the water lines because they are very old, and we're wanting to replace those before we do the new paving, the new sidewalks and all that. So that started today, actually. There have been some preliminary valving work done on it in the past couple of months, but the actual project started today. This is all Appalachian Community Grant funding. No match to the city money. This is all grant money coming in to do this project uptown. And then also two community events I want to mention. One, the Apple Festival that just concluded this weekend was probably one of the most successful of all time, possibly. Huge crowds in town. We were very proud to host the OSU Marching Band in Jackson. That brought people into Jackson by the Groves. And also we had somewhat of a surprise visit by a former presidential candidate and current gubernatorial candidate, Vivek Ramaswamy. He was here, visited Saturday evening and walked through the parade. Just added another little dramatic impact, I guess, of the parade, but it was quite a weekend here in Jackson. We're very happy about that. And then, as has happened in many years since before I was mayor, the mayors of the county kind of get together to agree on a trick-or-treat night, a celebration for Halloween, so that they're coordinated countywide. And the mayors have chosen actual Halloween, October 31st, to be trick-or-treat night. And it'll be from 5:30 to 7 in Jackson, Wellston, Oak Hill, and Colton, I believe. So that's all I have for my report tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Questions for the mayor? Mr. Schweikhammer.
I've got 3 items that I want to touch on. The fire levy, or not fire levy, the Franklin Valley contract. I'll talk more about when we come to that legislation. I do have a petition here to vacate an alley. Last time I kind of heard from council that there was some concerns whether they were going to do that in the future. I just want to make sure that everybody's aware. That legislation will come next meeting, which is currently going to be the 27th.
Yes, the 27th.
Okay. So unless somebody tells me different, that will come to council on the 27th. And then I have a utility permit for outside the city for water that I'll need a motion on. For Burlington Road, Mr. Icenagel, he is bordering the city's property there at the school, and there is both water and sewer that runs across the property he owns.
Thank you, Mr. Freichammer. Questions for the Service Director? Mr. Peters?
I ask this every year for trick or treat. We should consider blocking off South Street, at least from High to Pearl, just so people can move freely without worried about getting run over and all that stuff. Most of the trick-or-treaters go down South Street, Pearl Street. It's only a couple of hours, but for the safety of everyone, we'll recommend that again. That's up to you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Other questions for the Service Director? Hearing none, we'll move into the ordinances and resolutions portion of our meeting. We will begin with ordinance 44-2025. Ms. Kuhn?
An ordinance rezoning from medium-density residential MDR to industrial I, 23.163 acres owned by Consolidated Health Systems Incorporated and located on SSR Lot 97 and on lots 64 through 87 of the Walnut Hill subdivision in the city of Jackson, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Could I have a motion to adopt ordinance 44-2025 as presented to council?
I'll move to that.
Motion by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. Bopp. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Discussion. Mayor Evans.
Yes, the Planning Commission met 2 weeks ago. Most of you were here, and again earlier this evening, to consider that request by Holzer Health Systems and Geiger Brothers to rezone that property that's mentioned here in Exhibit A. The Planning Commission has heard the neighbors and heard the concerns, and in the end, thinks it's a reasonable request and has made this recommendation to move this along to get full council for consideration of the rezoning.
Thank you, Mayor. Other discussion? Any further action to be taken on ordinance 44-2025? Hearing none, this constitutes the first reading of ordinance 44-2025. Next, ordinance 45-2025. Ms. Kuhn?
An ordinance authorizing the Service and Safety Director to advertise for sale and to sell to the highest and best bidder timber from the Hammertown Lake area that is not needed for a municipal purpose under RC Section 721.15 and declaring an emergency.
Discussion. Mayor?
I did get a question about this, I just wanted to clarify. This is so the city can try to get some revenue from the trees that were removed that had fallen across the horse trails out there. The city went and cleaned it up some, and this is, we are not currently have plans to do any timbering out there, like has been done in the past, although probably some of it should be done. That's not what this is for. This is for so we can sell the logs that we have in cleaning up the trails out there.
Thank you, Mayor. Other discussion? Any further action to be taken on ordinance 45-2025? Hearing none, this constitutes the second reading of ordinance 45-2025. Next, for council consideration, first reading, resolution 40-2025. Ms. Kuhn?
A resolution of the legislative authority of the city of Jackson to enter into an agreement with the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Jackson County, Ohio for fire protection.
Could I have a motion to adopt resolution 40-2025 as presented, Council? Mr. Peters, second by Mr. Bopp. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Discussion, Mr. Swackhammer.
Yes. In the spring of '26, both our Lick and Franklin Valley contracts will expire. And we intentionally reach out early for budgeting purposes to get our new contracts in place. Last year, the fire department made a total of 277 runs. Franklin was 50 of those runs, and the overall cost on a per-run basis is $1,602.17 based off of last year's numbers. But some of those are fixed costs that the city would have regardless of whether we were serving another district or not. If you take out the fixed cost, that number comes down to a little over $50,000, $50,440. And in 2025, Franklin was paying $54,000 a year. With their new levy in place, and we do have continuing cost rising with not only apparatus and equipment, we looked at also, they shared with us what their fire levy was. They bring in a little over $80,000 a year in it, and so we have agreed to a 26 through 30 5-year contract, $75,000 the first 3 years, $80,000 the last 2 years. Plus, they will be doing some continuation of hydrant upgrades, which we badly need in that area, because we have to, a lot of times, send our trucks clear back to 4 Mile Road to the nearest hydrant to fill back up for larger events. So with the work that they're doing, with the levy that they have, and their percentage of what it costs us to run, we feel that this is a fair contract for the next 5 years.
Thank you, Mr. Swackhammer. Other discussion? Any further action?
Just one quick question, just paperwork-wise. I got 2 of these. One was in the packet and one was on my desk. Which is the agreement?
There's a line on there that needs to be marked out, so the second one that you got
So the second one is the
is the one you want, yes.
Thank you. That's all I need. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any other further action to be taken?
Yeah.
Mr. Swackhammer.
At the second reading, I will have their signed copies. Mr. Fraley was out of town last week, and I wasn't able to get their signatures on it, so I will have signed their signatures on these for second reading.
Thank you, Mr. Swackhammer. Other discussion? Any further action to be taken on Resolution 40-2025? Hearing none, this constitutes the first reading of Ordinance 40-2025. This concludes our work in the ordinances and resolutions. I thank council for their work. In our agenda, the correspondence that you might have, Cindy, I did pass out a couple pieces of correspondence that I did receive that was sent to me. So I passed that out to council. Old business, Mr. Swackhammer?
I don't know if it's old, it's probably new business.
Well, the auction.
Oh, yes, thank you, appreciate that. The auction is at 5 o'clock tomorrow night at the Memorial Building. So people it is a walkthrough type auction, except for these smaller items they did bring down into the auditorium. A waiver will be required to be signed by anybody getting a number that wishes to walk through, simply because they are going room to room. It is in a current demo state. We took out what we were needed to save, and there is, debris and stuff on the floors. So that is for tomorrow night. It'll start at 5 o'clock.
Thank you, Mr. Schweikhammer. Questions about the auction tomorrow? Any other old business to be brought before council? Mr. Bob?
Has there been anything done with 153 Portsmouth Street? Any more talk about before?
So they've been notified that, based on the information we have, that it is not in a correctly zoned area. So we've left it at that. It looks like it should be, based on what we have, it looks like it would be general commercial.
Other discussion? Old business?
Just a quick comment that I thought was strange, but someone asked me if the grave in front of the memorial building was going to be removed, and I said, I think that's just a marker. So maybe let the public know that there's no one buried there. I told the person there's no one buried there. As far as I know, there's no one buried there.
There isn't yet, but there may be soon.
And then the other concern was, can we please have a flagpole at the new building?
We will have a new flagpole at the new building, yes.
That'd be great.
And to my knowledge, there is no one buried there. And there was a time capsule from Jaffe there that they have already removed and placed elsewhere.
Noted, no one's buried there. Thank you.
Any other old business?
One more question. Mr. Mayor, Westview School to the corporation limit paving, any reasoning why you didn't do that?
Yeah, we have a grant from ODOT to pay from there out to the city line,
Right.
and it's on their schedule, not ours. I think they have it planned for next summer. Do you know, David?
They do.
Yeah, so that will be paved next.
Was it that maybe in the last 4 years that's been?
ODOT moves very slowly.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually when we get an ODOT grant, it's 2 years before it actually happens.
Because someone mentioned it to me and I thought that we've been talking about it. Okay.
Yep, it is scheduled. It is scheduled. They just move a lot slower than we do.
Okay.
Looking at new business, I think there are 3 items there. Mr. Schweikhammer, if you'd like to commence.
Yes, I'll go with the utility first. Mr. Eisnagel, under JSE Investments, 322 Burlington Road. This would be the first driveway as you leave the city on Burlington. If any of you travel that, know that there's a new pole barn out there on his property. He's asking for water there. The water actually runs across his property and in behind all the houses on the right-hand side, running down to the hospital. There's both water and sewer there, and so that's what the request is for.
Discussion.
I'll move to accept it. If he's paying for it, and we'll take another customer.
I want to make a comment. I actually want to ask a question.
One second, let me get, 1 second. Mr. Newkirk, second. Go ahead, Mayor.
I just want to clarify, is that in the city or not?
That is not in the city.
So it's not in the city. I have heard council talk at times about they're not going to give utilities outside the city anymore unless they're annexed. I'm not saying that's what I'm suggesting. I just wanted you all to know that that is outside the city, and we don't care. We'll do whatever you guys tell us to do. Just wanted to make the council was clear on that. Same way, never mind.
Discussion. Any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion is carried. Mr. Schweikhammer.
I mentioned briefly, I do have a petition here to vacate an alley over on Triumph Street. It's an unimproved alley. There is no utilities in it. The property owner owns both sides of the alley. So following the outline in our codifieds, I will be bringing that to council next week. I will ask council clerk to get a copy of it to council ahead of time so that everybody can take a look at it, so you're not seeing it for the first time when you come to the next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Schweikhammer. And then I think you have another item for discussion.
No, the other one was the fire department. We've already had first reading of.
Okay. Yes, sir.
The agenda has the franchise.
Oh, yeah, you said you
I'm
wanted...
sorry, the third, what's a
Which-
franchise?
I'll speak on
Yeah.
that for the service
Mr.
committee.
Peters and I had been discussing it, so.
Always, these questions about dumpsters and things like that. So we talked about this at the last meeting to create a no-compete clause for the city for the dumpsters that we have, that we could serve certain sizes. The other question is the franchise fee. So we need to probably debate whether or not we want to eliminate the fee and raise the number of businesses that can apply to be a franchise in the agreement. Service director kind of talked to me a little bit about it, and the offset that we're getting for the fee, if we're offering the dumpster size of comparable to somebody bringing them from outside, like Rumpke and some of the third parties, that it's at least a break even. It's not gonna cost the city money. We probably need to get this in place by the first of the year. I have the amendments that I just saw for the first time tonight. I'll send out an email to everyone. Or I'll have Cindy print a copy if you need one, but they're just subtle changes, and there's just a few things that council would need to debate before either making the amendment or rejecting it. So that's all.
If I may add, if we do move forward, which I am recommending, that we use 26 as a transition year, I believe we will actually need to purchase some 3 and 6 yard containers. For us, we have some, but I believe we'll need to purchase more, so I'd like to use 26 as a transition period, or at least a portion thereof.
Thank you. Discussion.
Something else with that council probably should look at. We charge a set fee for the franchise fee for like Rumpke to come in and do the roll-offs and their dumpsters. So we do not take construction waste. So if we're stopping them from doing business from commercial, would we still have a $10,000 franchise fee? Because the only thing they would be doing then would be roll-offs for construction waste or major. So that would be another consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Any other discussion on the topic? Any other new business to be brought before council? Mr. Elliott?
We had a BOZA meeting, and we granted the variance this evening, and we have a meeting October 27th at 6 p.m.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Elliott. So just to follow up on Mr. Elliott's comments, for council, 6 o'clock will be the Board of Zoning Appeals. 6:15 will be the public hearing dealing with the property for Geiger Brothers before council, and then the council meeting will start promptly at 7 o'clock. So, but there is no meeting on the 13th due to it being a holiday.
And I want to add that the public hearing is for council, not the planning commission, so all of council does need to be here for that meeting.
Thank you, Cindy. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Peters?
Second.
Second, Mr. Elliott. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We stand adjourned.